Right. Recording begin now. We can start. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello. It's been a while. So it's the
Yes, a
season.
fair gap between races.
Yep. Summer break is finally over, and we're ready for our weekly dose of Dutch Anthem. Yay! All
That
right.
is the perfect name for it.
Yep. I see Lebanon didn't put his predictions in, so he's probably gonna put them later in. Yes. Um. I think we can start right away. I don't think there's much to talk about. The silly season didn't happen like at all, apart from the Haas drivers
Yeah,
resigning for another year.
yeah, that was nice.
I mean, it was
Yeah,
kind of expected.
yeah, expected. That's what I'd say. Yeah.
Yep.
Was it? I could see them bringing someone else in, but also it's Haas. Who's going to Haas?
Yeah. I don't think they really cannot find anyone better than Magnussen into that car right now.
Oh, they've already got someone better. They have Hulk there. It's
Yeah, I mean, apart from Hulkenberg, it's obviously in the team already, and they don't really
Yeah,
have
yeah.
any other good options apart from Magnussen.
No. You'd
And,
think maybe they'd bring Mick, but Mick proved he wasn't as good as Magnussen.
yeah,
But yeah, the Haas is Hassing pretty much is the
yeah,
main thing there. They don't really do much.
exactly. All right. You want to start this time?
Okay, wow. So Dutch Grand Prix, it's kind of a different track from every other track in the calendar. It feels like it feels like NASCAR in a way when it isn't. But you get me with the whole like stadium vibe of it.
Yeah,
I feel like it's in an actual stadium, and maybe it's because all the curbs are slanted, but it does feel like NASCAR a lot, except for the fact that it's tiny, there's no overtaking opportunities, and going around corners, and there's tons of corners basically.
yep,
So it is a different track. It's going to basically rely on pit stops and on qualifying. I mean, last time we had an interesting race until the old Alpha Tauris decided to ruin it all. But this time, it's got to, we all know who we think is going to be at the top.
yep.
It's always the same guy, and it's always got to be Max Verstappen.
Yeah,
If I could have
it's
put that in place
it
properly, it
is.
would have been cooler.
Yeah, it is how it is. There's not really anything to expect from this Grand Prix. I don't think anyone will come anywhere near Max this weekend in both quali and race. I think it's gonna get pole position by like maybe 2 or more tenths, I'd say. Yeah, especially if it rains, then the gap may be even more than a second.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's the case definitely. I mean, maybe it'll be funner if it rains. We haven't really had a raining Dutch Grand Prix yet, but
It could be interesting to see how the rain affects the banking. Uh, in the like on the for example in Turs in the last corner the banking one,
yeah,
it
yeah,
would be interesting to see because I have no idea how the physics would play out there. Yeah, my choice isn't too much different from yours. I don't think this is much of a surprise to anyone. Yeah, it's just one guy winning everything this season. Not very much to say. Okay,
Who would have thought it?
yeah. Okay, Formula 1.5 pole position from your choice.
So it's weird, right? Because a lot of people are bringing upgrades to this track. McLaren are bringing updates. Aston Martin, Mercedes technically are bringing updates. No one really got to mess around nicely with the updates last time because they all had like one practice. So I'm feeling a a lot of this is going to be massive in terms of the upgrades perspective. With that being said, doesn't really matter. I'm going to go with Perez. Look, he's not got P2 in a long time. Even last race, no P2. But let me recopy that and repaste it. But I somewhat just believe there's something about him for me. There's something about this track and my perspective on Red Bull.
I mean, that's fair. It wasn't too bad either last year. I think it was like pretty close to max, like 2 or maybe maximum 3 times. I'd say.
He's also, he's good on street tracks. This isn't necessarily a street track, but has a lot of the similar things to street tracks. But I can also see him just putting it in the gravel in Q1. Yeah. I can definitely see him doing that.
It is such a Perez thing to happen.
Well, it's exactly what would happen to him, and would not shock me.
Yep. We had Red Bull winning there last year, both pole position and the race, because Red Bull was pretty much like pretty clear number 1 car last year. I would say Mercedes was like number 2. But still, there was a significant gap between the Red Bulls and the Mercedes last year. So, even this year, Red Bull is even stronger. I think Red Bull is going to be pretty much clear of everyone. I just have doubts over Perez being P2 because every time I put Perez in P2, it just doesn't happen. I think Alonso, and I'm going to believe the Aston Martin upgrades can finally do something for them.
Okay.
Kind of a bold pick, considering the last few races.
Very bold pick, especially considering your prediction back at the I can't remember which Grand Prix it was.
Hungary?
Hungary, yes, thank you.
Hungary was I have no idea what happened to Hungary for Aston's, to be honest. It was the one track they should do well in. Weird. I mean, yeah, the upgrades they're bringing in, obviously Mercedes and McLarens are bringing upgrades of their own, but yeah, I could see Alonso doing well on this track. I just had a feeling.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I'm down with that. Well, it's difficult for the next place, though. For me, it's really difficult because, as I said, we haven't really seen these upgrades. It could be massive. I'm going to take a risk just because I think he's been kind of stiffed in a few qualifying sessions, but the Hungary race was really good for me. Hamilton in P3. I just think he's so good at qualifying, and I think it could be a good race for him. They did well here last year, the 2 Mercedes, until they were ruined by the AlphaTauri. So yeah, I'm gonna put Hamilton there.
All right, that's a pretty decent choice, I would say. Yeah, Mercedes would be like around there if everyone a bunch of behind Max Verstappen. Like you have Perez and the 3 top teams, and you have Ferraris struggling behind them because Ferrari. I don't know what happened to Ferrari. It's just they seem to be even weaker than they started like this season. They were like good in quality, but falling behind the races, and now they cannot even qualify too high. Like Belgium was an exception, obviously, because the track really suited them. But it's a similar track to Hungary, I would say. In Hungary, Ferrari didn't really seem too strong in both sessions qualifying in the race. So I think Ferrari is going to be probably like below the top 4 teams. For my P3 pick, though, it is difficult because they have like so many people you can put there.
Good teams, yeah.
Both Mercs, both Clarence. Yeah, I just don't know. Maybe even Alpine surprise. I don't know. Could see anything, to be honest. I'm gonna put. You know what? I'm gonna put Russell because I haven't put him up high in a long time. I mean, I put in Belgian Grand Prix, but let's talk about it. Right. Yeah, similar explanation to Hamilton one. Mercedes, I think they're going to be pretty quick on this track, and Russell kind of needs a redemption after the last few races. Hamilton has been significantly better this season, you gotta say. So, yeah, I think Russell would need a pretty good weekend. If he beats Hamilton this weekend, I'm gonna be more confident in him personally. Just, yeah, I'm not really impressed by Russell this season. I really want him to do better.
That's fair. That's fair. I think a few of the races he's been doing well in, he's ended up screwing himself over. If that makes sense.
Yeah. The only like place where he got really unlucky was like Australia, where he retired from the lead. That was pretty unlucky. But yeah, Max would have won that race anyway, and Russell would probably finish on the podium, maybe behind Hamilton. I don't really know. It's just a huge what if. Okay. For your P4 pick.
Oh, so it gets tricky here, right? But I'm gonna back this. This is a bit of a hint. I'm gonna back a certain car to do okay this weekend. So I didn't really think they'd do very well in Hungary, so I'm kind of going back on what I think their car philosophy is. But I'm going to back the two McLarens. They just seem to be the second best car on the grid, like just about. They obviously had a terrible time in Spa, but that was their setup, plain and simply. They decided to go with a wet setup, ruined them on the race day. I think on the actual race, on this race, I think they'll maybe do a better strategic call. The weather forecast is a bit strange, but I still think it's going to be a good race for them. And Norris is probably just about still hanging on to the top spot. I mean, Piastri only beat him in Spa, so it's not really. And then obviously didn't even finish, so it's not really a question. But Piastri has definitely been nipping on his heels recently.
Yeah, Piastri's really improved over the season. I think it's pretty close to Norris, maybe on par with him in some instances. Just pretty hard to tell because last few sessions have really been impacted by rain and so on. Like the last I think non-rain affected session was like a Hungary race, which was like they were pretty close to each other in race pace until Piastri got the damage.
Yeah.
Right.
Different factors affecting it, yeah, definitely.
My pick for P4 is the same as yours, actually. Yours for P4 as well. I cannot put him outside the top 5 at this point. Just unless it's another set of blunder by McLaren, I think Norris is gonna get comfortably in the top 4, maybe top 3. I don't know. We could see them doing better in the race, maybe. I think McLaren is a tiny bit better race car than qualifying car. Just maybe the opposite of Mercedes. I think maybe Mercedes are a bit better in quali. Can't really tell. It's changing from session to session, really. Right. Yeah, McLaren is pretty much the second strongest car. It's really close. I can't really tell if McLaren is better than Mercedes or vice versa. It's just really close.
I think currently they are. I mean, we'll see again updates and so on.
Yeah,
going to change around, but
both teams are bringing upgrades, so could see some changes in the pecking order. I don't think anyone's challenging Max, but just yeah.
No, technically they did bring updates last race, and yeah. Well, spoiler alert: my next driver is also a McLaren driver in Piastri. As I said, I thought it was pretty solid. He looked good in qualifying. I think they're both pretty strong on the wets as well. So yeah, I think it'd be a good race for the old McLaren duo. Well, good qualifying at least. Let's see race predictions soon.
Yeah, Piastri is a pretty good pick from his side, I would say. Yeah, I'll very much say same as Norris. McLaren is pretty strong, and the duo of McLaren drivers are pretty close to each other, so it makes sense. my pick, I'm picking Lewis. I don't know if I should put Lewis after the top 5 from any session from now on. Just really consistent from him. Any track is just putting a not really the lap in, but at least like is somewhere up there. It's just not. Sometimes it puts the lap in, like in Hungary, for example. So maybe even on this track, like, I never know. I'm really open to a Mercedes pole position. I think that would be great. I just don't think they're gonna hold on to the lead on race day.
Yeah, I get you. Well, that is the qualifying for us. Yeah, we have different picks. Your Alonso picks out there, but I guess my Perez one is out there. Otherwise, we're not too dissimilar. Like, we both agree the Mercedes are pretty quick compared to the old Ferrari, the Mercedes and the McLaren. So, be interesting to see if Ferrari do manage to get into that top few places and ruin our predictions. Definitely could occur. But coming to the race, it is again Max Verstappen in front of his home crowd. It's inevitable that he wins every race he can. Look, it's a bad bet against Verstappen. Sure, maybe we'll see some sort of incident happen where he doesn't manage to get the top spot, whatever. But I just don't see, like, maybe his car breaks down, or like in Spa, he almost crashes himself out. But it's just currently he is pretty unstoppable in that car. It's quick. That's all we can really say.
Yep. Just it's
And plus the home crowd. The home crowd's going to be big.
yeah, it's pretty sure it's like the Dutch Grand Prix. Obviously, there's gonna be 99% of Max Verstappen fans there. You could say like some McLaren fans here and there because the orange, like a shade of orange somewhere. Yeah. For my pick for win is okay. I wanted to make a joke, but about Sargent, but I did it last time, so yeah, not really that this time. Yeah, Max for a win. That's just obvious. I don't think that needs too much explanation.
It's bad for us to bet against him. Is the issue
It's
in this competitiveness of that we've got, this competition we've got going on, trying to get more points against each other. It is a bad bet for us to go against him and his superior drive, shall we say.
Yep.
I mean, I got a lot of points last week, so I'm hoping to get a bit more on the ball. I'm firmly in the lead now, aren't I?
Yeah, really by
3 points.
Scoring. Yeah, 3 points. You're 11-8, and Banana has 0 points right now, so I gotta keep that P2 at least.
True. Do you have any shock P2s, or because I sort of have an opinion on what might happen during the race?
Oh, you're going with another
sort of
lap one. Oh.
Well, I'm going to go with Norris. I do think. Look, I'm going to go out there. I don't think Perez is finishing. I don't know why. It's just sitting there calling out to me that he's not going to finish and they're going to get rid of him before Italy. So I do think Norris will probably overtake Lewis, even though it's pretty hard to overtake on this track. Otherwise, it's going to be quite boring, the rest of my picks, I can't lie.
Yeah.
So we got the Norris pick out there.
Yeah, I agree. Norris is a pretty safe pick for P2 in the race, which is why I'm going with it as well.
Oh, okay.
I think he's gonna have a pretty good race. I think he's gonna overtake George in the lap one, and then just Alonso falls back because of the Aston Martin not really being good. I think they're gonna be better in quality, the Astons. I just don't think they can really manage the race pace. Like last time they were, what was it? Not a Spa, but Hungary, similar track to this. the Astons were like fifth fastest in the race. They were even behind Ferraris. I don't really know what's going on with Astons. I just hope they do better, but I don't really see them in the top two, anywhere near top two in the races. Yeah. Norris is as you explained, it's a pretty safe pick. I think it's gonna have a good race, as you said, and it's gonna overtake a Mercedes in the lap into turn one. I'm not having Perez there, so I don't have to rely on Perez DNFing. Right. Your pick for the final podium place.
The final podium place is going to continue to be Lewis Hamilton. We got used to seeing this podium position between the three of them, and I think we might continue to get used to it. The Verstappen first, Norris second, Hamilton third, coming to the second half of the season, the end of the season, shall we say. I think there's going to be a few races where these three are on these steps, so I think Dutch Grand Prix is going to be one of them. We shall see, but I think Hamilton's obviously going to have a quite boring race. I do expect maybe the Norris overtake, but otherwise not going to have the pace to really keep up with Verstappen, and maybe the pace to stay ahead of Norris and so on. But I think Hamilton P3 is quite a safe bet, if I'm honest.
All right. I gotta say,
As safe as you can be with everywhere that isn't first.
Yeah, I gotta say, it could look like I'm copying, but I'm not.
Hey, look, you can't gain points on me if you just copy, so I'm okay with this.
No. I had this before. I cannot change it from like my own predictions because that would be cheating.
No
I'm really thinking this podium is really happening. Same explanation as you. I think this podium is. These three drivers are pretty much, I wouldn't say league of their own, but they're like quite comfortably ahead of like the rest, I would say.
This does mean Hamilton will overtake Alonso for the non-Red Bull Championship.
Yeah, that's pretty. Unless the Aston Martin upgrades really work, I think that was inevitable ever since like Silverstone was where the Astons were nowhere second weekend in a row.
Yeah. My belief is that the non-Red Bull Championship might actually happen because Red Bull have overspent again and will get a harsher penalty, maybe, but I doubt it.
Yeah, I mean,
both drivers disqualified. It could be amazing.
We'll probably find like early September, I would say. I don't know exactly.
Yeah, maybe.
Did you hear the exact date?
No. It was around Italy last time. I think between Italy and Singapore, from memory.
I just saw some.
Not that they actually did anything until after the season had ended.
Yep. I saw some tweets saying it's like September, but like who knows which weekend that is? Because they're like three weekends. I think there are 3 races in September, right?
I'm guessing so. I'm not sure.
The Italian Grand Prix and the Singapore, right?
Well, the Dutch Grand Prix is this weekend, which is August.
Oh, it's still August. I'm pretty. Oh, okay. That's good that it's still in August. It's not that late, I guess. Right. Yeah. All right. For your P4 pick.
Oh, a big calls here yet again, but Piastri P4. Again, good driver. I don't really know how to add on it. I just think these are the safe bets currently in this part of the season. I think coming back to it, I think I'm just going to make safe predictions, try and get points on the board. I think Piastri is obviously a good driver, and yeah, not enough to catch up with Hamilton, but probably enough to stay ahead of the rest of the field, which I'm struggling with my 5th place, but we'll come to that.
All right. Finally, I'm not copying you there. So I'm putting Perez in P4.
Oh, okay.
I think the Red Bull is just too superior in the races, especially with the DRS. I think Perez.
Yeah, that's bad.
I don't think Perez is making top 5 in quality, but if he's making like top 10, I think he's gonna be in the top 5 by like lap 20, probably. the Red Bull is just too strong in the races. He showed it in Spa. Just even Perez, who was 20 seconds behind for Max, was just another 20 seconds ahead of Leclerc. It was just Red Bulls were crazy. Yep. Yeah, no really much to say anywhere else really. Do you have anything to say too much about my pick?
I think that's a pretty okay pick. I can't lie. I don't think it's too bad of an option. Fifth place is the tricky one, right? Because I've got the two Ferraris left. I've got Russell, who I obviously think is a good driver, left. I could even put Perez there, but I'm gonna go for Alonso in the end. I don't know why. I feel like I'll curse myself out for this, but I'm just going for the safe pick of Alonso. Well, not safe pick, but I don't know. He can't be that far behind Hamilton. They do look slow, so maybe that was a bad option. They did look very slow in Spa.
I mean, I'll also go P5 in Spa.
Yeah, but compared to how obviously he was ahead of Russell, but Russell had complications during that race of being behind Lance Stroll for ages.
Yeah.
I think really Russell was unlucky not to beat him purely because how long he was stuck behind, and he was quite far behind Hamilton until Hamilton pit, and then that caused a bit more of a closeness. But the fact Hamilton had a safe pit stop window where he could come out ahead of Alonso proves that car is slower than Mercedes currently, I would say. I do think there's a risk because the Leclerc looks pretty quick in Spa, but don't know. I don't know why it's calling to me. It's calling to me though.
You never know how it's gonna play out. The upgrades. It's really hard to tell because it's the first race after the summer break. If most of the top teams bringing upgrades, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, these peaks could be like all wrong except for the Verstappen P1, obviously. Like, he could get no points apart from Max, really. So, yeah. My B5 is George Russell. I think he's gonna fall down a bit in the race, but I think he's still gonna have a pretty good weekend. Outperforming Hamilton in the quali, but falling behind the race. Maybe due to some strategy option, like last time we saw George overtake Lewis in the race because of the late safety car, was it? So
yeah. You're predicting a massive drop off for old Alonso then.
Yeah, I mean,
from P2 to not even in there.
I think
not even in front row.
I don't think it's gonna be much much on Alonso himself. It's just maybe the car has some kind of mechanical issue or whatever. There's no seeing in the top 5 for a race. I would put him like lower in the quali. I just went for a bold pick because I need some jinxing powers, I guess. If I if I don't put him there, he's probably gonna put. Okay, I'm just I have issues explaining myself this thing. Let's just go over to the most impressive driver because I have no idea what I'm saying anymore.
The most impressive drivers sucks as a category because at this point we kind of have to look at the midfield because, to be fair, if neither of us have predicted the Ferraris to do well, but I don't think any of the drivers we've put in the top 5, including qualifying, getting that place is impressive drive, if you get me.
Yep.
So I don't think. Well, maybe if you're saying Perez is starting really far from the back, that would be the case. But then you've got to question why he's starting far from the back. But Verstappen should be getting P1. Norris should be getting P2. Hamilton should be getting around P3. Piastri 4, 5. You get my point.
Yep.
So I am sort of looking at the midfield and going, who is this track going to suit? Now, the Alpines look quick in Spa. Spa is a very different race to this one. Same with the Williams. And I don't really want to go with him. Maybe it's like a little bit of just thinking, oh, he's got to do well eventually. But Ricardo is calling out to me.
Okay.
But I'm going to change it last second and say Tsunoda.
Yeah.
It's a big one for old the old AlphaTauris because they could be looking at a potential drive here. So both of them have sort of got to step up. And after Spa, I think Tsunoda did really well in Spa. And obviously Ricciardo's issues weren't his own. He got sort of screwed at the start in both his races he's been in now. And he's going to come in a lot fitter than he was because obviously he talked about not being that fit going into the car for Hungary and Spa because it was all of a sudden. But even so, I don't know. Something about it is making me think it could be the case.
Yep.
That Tsunoda does better.
All right. Tsunoda for most of the person drive, I would say that means at least 11th place, like top of the midfield.
11th place. Yeah, I was expecting because that car's slow, right? It's probably the slowest car on the grid.
Oh yeah. Well, depends on whether Haas are actually good. Because if
It depends whether Haas in the race is awful.
Haas car in the race is probably the slowest one. Maybe.
But
just the quality of the Haas car can push them upwards. I don't know. Yeah, can continue with your explanation.
Well, I was going to say back into Spa, the Alphas did pretty solid. The Alphas did pretty solidly. Tsunoda came 10th. Daniel Ricciardo did come 16th, and that was only ahead of Sargent and Hulkenberg. But I think Tsunoda's shown his own recently. And I think, to be honest, he was a bit unlucky that he didn't get past Stroll as well. So he could have easily got 9th. I think he could bring that performance again. It's maybe a bit of copium, but I'm gonna put Tsunoda in there. I think he's a good young driver, if I'm honest. I don't think it would suit him to go to Red Bull, but I don't think anyone suits going to Red Bull because Verstappen sort of has his power over it.
Yeah. It's a pretty
maybe Ricardo.
Yeah,
if we get like pre-leaving Red Bull Ricardo.
Yeah, I guess the 2018 Ricardo was pretty much on par with Max, but you could also argue the 2018 Max was much worse version of Max we have today.
Yeah, definitely, that's the case. Also, the car's now just tuned perfectly for him.
Yep. Right.
But
yeah, Tsunoda for the most impressive drivers. So okay, I'm gonna give you the points if he gets like best of the race. Basically, that's beating everyone apart from the top 5 teams. I think
so. What about if he's behind the Alpines? What are we talking? Just behind the Alpines.
That's still difficult because Alpines are like when it comes to Alpines, it's just every race they're like I have no idea where to put them. Are they like challenging the top teams?
I do think they're the 6th best car.
Yeah, that's pretty obvious, but it just in some races they're just in the midfield, and in some races they're just punching above their weight and like fighting with the top teams. Like it changes from race to race. I don't know. If depends on how quick the Alpines are in this weekend. If the Alpines are like nowhere near the AlphaTauris, I would say I would give you the point there. But if the Alpines if the Alpines are like comfortably in the midfield, then I would say it's not really point.
Well, but that's the Alpine being quick rather than the drivers.
Yeah, but also how you look at it, because if If the Alpines are within reach, then Tsunoda beating them deserves a point. But if it's not, that you know,
All I'm saying is the Alpine has 57 points and the AlphaTauri has 3. So him being close to them is kind of, a good performance.
obviously we'll see come race weekend. Yeah, all right.
Prepare for next week when I have to argue that Tsunoda is worthy of the point.
All right, I'm gonna use the same logic as you. I'm gonna put Bottas in the most important.
Oh, okay.
I haven't done anything this kind of stuff. I put him the least impressive driver for the first. Yeah, it was the British Grand Prix.
Yeah.
I haven't really talked about Alfa Romeos too much. Last time in Hungary, they got a pretty good quali. Zhou qualified ahead of Leclerc, I think. It was like P5. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And this track isn't too different. I mean, it's pretty different from Hungary, but it's a track more similar to Hungary than Spa was, honestly. You don't really need too much straight line speed in the Netherlands, just like in Hungary. And I think the straight line speed is the biggest weakness of the Alfa Romeos. So yeah, Alfa Romeos, I think they're gonna be a pretty strong car this weekend. I don't think they're fighting with the top teams. Like maybe they could sneak into the top 8 in quali. Maybe if it rains or whatever. I just don't think they're really making the step forward to like consistently be there. I just feel like the Alfa Romeos are going to be the strongest midfield car this weekend. Yeah, it's basically the same with Tsunoda as with Tsunoda. If Bottas makes the best of the rest position, I think that deserves it. Most impressive driver.
Yeah. To be honest, I'd give him it for maybe coming 12th even. Like, I don't think that Alpha's that quick. If you get me, like 12th would be we're ignoring any like things, but that is just like outside the top 5 teams alongside the Alphas. Again, best. You're kind of right in best of the rest, but yeah, I definitely if he was nearish the Alphas, I'd definitely be pretty happy with that.
Yep.
The Alpine, sorry, not Alphas. Very stupid, confusing names.
We have so many teams starting with A. And Andretti is joining as well, so we're gonna have like 5 teams.
Isn't AlphaTauri becoming something else?
AlphaTauri is becoming like a Hugo Boss or something like that. Like they're
amazing
rebranding the clothing brand.
Hugo Boss Racing.
Yeah, it sounds funny. All right.
That's gonna suck that they'll still be the feeder team though.
Yeah.
Despite having a completely different name.
I mean, it's always Toro Rosso for me personally.
Same.
I really like the Toro Rosso livery, especially like 2018 and 2019, like the light blue with the red details. It was pretty good livery. I really liked it more than Red Bull back in the days, but then they changed it to the AlphaTauri black and white, like not the black but dark blue, I think it is. I don't know. The AlphaTauri really didn't impress me too much. I just don't really enjoy it as much as I did enjoy the Toro Rosso livery.
It was like 2018, maybe. It looked amazing. No, not 2018. It looks alright in 2018.
That was
I'm trying to think. There was one where I was just in love with their livery so much, but I can't think of which one it was.
When it comes to like memorable races, maybe 2018 Bahrain, like Gasly P4. If you remember that race, I could see the Toro Rosso livery under the lights. It was pretty good.
Yeah, I can't remember. I remember when they originally changed. I quite liked it, but this newest version is I'm not a fan of. Like the last two, I quite. But yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's most impressive driver.
Yeah, but you can go for your least impressive driver choice now.
That's what I'm sitting on currently.
Right.
I could play the safe bet. Like we always have a safe bet, right? Which is Lance Stroll. Let's be honest.
I mean, yeah, yeah, Stroll is just too. I mean, where do you like put Stroll's average performance? It's like P10 or
Well,
P8 or
he should be P10, right? At the very least, he should be P10.
I guess.
And he does get that a lot, which is why a lot of like last time our least impressive driver didn't come off, right? Because he did get P9.
Yep.
And then the week before, my one didn't come off because he did okay. So I'm gonna have to go with someone different because I always put him there. I'm gonna put Magnussen.
All right.
I don't like
Interesting.
Magnussen, so maybe it's because of that.
I mean that's fair. The Haas cars are
I,
probably gonna struggle this weekend, and have
to be
Magnussen
honest,
last.
yeah, it's just him coming last. That's literally what last by a few seconds behind his teammate. There you go. That's
Yep.
the bet.
It's pretty likely Hulkenberg beats Magnussen again because it's pretty much the story of this season. I don't remember like exactly which races Magnussen really outperformed Hulkenberg. Maybe apart from like Miami. I actually don't remember. Nico is being really good this season, and
I'm looking at that.
Magnussen has been like it's hard to say. In qualifying, especially, it was pretty much just Nico show, not really Magnussen. But in the races, they're pretty close, I would say.
So I've gone to head-to-head points in a season. So Magnussen got 1 in the second race. And ever since Nico Hulkenberg got 6 in race 3, it's only been Hulkenberg. Magnussen got 2, and Hulkenberg has 9. So
It's pretty one-sided thing there.
so Hulkenberg, which was the third race? Was that Australia?
I think it was Australia.
He got 3 there, so he was definitely doing well.
Yeah, it was. He got P8, but if the Alpines didn't crash like before the the restart, the second
Yeah, I remember what happened in Australia now. I remember.
Alonso spun out by Sainz, then Stroll going off. Like
The absolute mess that was Australia restart.
Nico was P4, and Sainz would have gotten a penalty. And imagine if the Alpines didn't crash, Nico Hulkenberg would have stood on the podium in a Haas 3 races in after his 2-year break from the sport. It would be insane.
God, I would love that. I would love that. I still want him on the podium. I still want him.
It's just something that in the Alpines that every time just screw up something. Like I don't know. I'm just still like pretty pissed. I'm pretty salty about the Alpines crashing. Why would they crash in such a situation? Like it's your teammate as well. It's like few laps to go, and you're racing your teammate. Why would you crash?
It's always the way. It's always the way.
Yeah, unfortunate. Okay. Magnussen for your illegal in-person driver, and it's much fair. Magnussen has been pretty good, pretty bad this season. So, all right. My least impressive driver.
Go on, take him.
Ferrari.
Oh, okay.
Because
I like it.
last time I was not really impressed by him in the Spa race. He basically pretty much ruined like 3 drivers race pretty much.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, no, yeah. You know what? That is a good bet. I like it. Also, with Sainz, anytime he has an issue, it seems to compound on himself.
Yeah,
he seems to get much worse and worse. So I'm interested to see if that happen again.
Yeah, I just feel like Sainz is gonna be like I think the Ferraris are not gonna be strong, but I still think Sainz is gonna have a pretty bad weekend, maybe crashing out in Q1 or whatever, and then getting out in the race like the usual thing that happened early 2022. Like
It was almost
there were a lot of jokes about sides of the gravel.
yeah. There was also obviously quite a lot of rumours about a certain Lewis Hamilton taking his spot at Ferrari. So,
And that's
of course,
it's not
yeah,
very...
that's not going to happen. But it can play on drivers' minds, I'm sure. Yeah, I think that's a decent pick. It's a decent pick. I will come to argue it. I'm pretty sure come next week when he comes like 8th, and I have to argue that isn't that bad of a position. But
we'll
for
see.
now, solid pick. Right. Most impressive team. Again, a tricky one. A very tricky one, I would say.
Yep.
I'm gonna go. Okay, here's where does Lance Stroll have to come? If I've got Alonso in 5th, where does Lance Stroll have to come for that team to be most impressive?
Well, if even if Stroll comes 6th place, I don't think that's the most impressive from Aston's.
I would say if they beat both Ferraris, that's most impressive.
Yeah, it's Aston Martin we're talking about. Like Alonso got like 6 podiums in the early season.
Yeah, but they've been terrible recently.
Like that's like going one on performance point, like imaginary performance point upwards. I don't think that's too much of them.
I think otherwise we have to pick like the midfield, and it's pretty boring. I guess
from your picks, I would pick either Red Bull or McLaren. Like from your predictions.
Why you can't say Red Bull is the most impressive for coming in the place they should come.
Yeah, if Aston's come P5 and 6, I wouldn't say that's impressive.
That is impressive compared to what they've been doing.
Alonso got 6 podiums this season.
Yeah, but you just said Red Bull if that would be most impressive, they should be coming first.
Like Red Bulls, you didn't really agree on Red Bulls being the strongest last weekend, even though they won by 40 seconds.
I did agree with that.
Did you?
Red Bull's hella the strongest.
So they're the most impressive, like in Belgium. Did you agree on that?
No, they're not the most impressive in Belgium though, because like they should be.
I don't know.
They should be they should be miles and miles ahead.
Sure, they should be winning, but if they win by like a minute, doesn't count.
They brought upgrades that weekend. They brought upgrades. They are absolutely the best car. Like early on in the season, again going by your logic, they were winning by like 60 seconds.
All right. Okay, I'm gonna use our logic against you here. McLaren's.
Okay.
You put them P2 and 4 after they were nowhere the first half of the season.
Yeah, but that's
impressive.
No, that's not impressive because like they should be there now. They're the second best car.
For me, that's more impressive than Aston's coming P5 and 6 after almost winning in Monaco, for example.
You're looking at the season too widely, right? In the context that Aston Martin have been the 5th slowest car consistently in the last like 4 to 5 races. Like in Silverstone, they were nowhere, right? In Hungary, they were nowhere. They were nowhere compared. Same with Spa. They've been like the slowest car compared to the Mercedes. Alonso did pretty well in that race, right? But he was still so much slower than Hamilton. Yeah, he was a bit quicker than the McLarens, but that's because McLaren set up their car really badly. Absolutely, it has to be because they've been the 5th slowest car. So if they jump the Ferraris, who were so much quicker than them at Spa,
I don't know. It's really hard to agree on because P5 and 6 for Aston's they're still. I think they're. But
you're looking at it. You're looking at it like 5 races back.
They're P3 in the constructors. Like coming P5 and 6 isn't impressive. I just cannot agree on that.
This is.
If it would be like late season, maybe second second last race, and Aston's have been like falling out of the points and someone what, and suddenly they're like up in the like top 6 positions. Maybe I would agree on that, but now they were still. Alonso was P2 like 5 races ago. And
well, here's my
P5 is impressive. I just
no. Here's my. What do you mean 5 races? Like, yeah, okay. So he was quick in Canada. He got in Austria. He got 5th, right?
Yep.
In Great Britain, Alonso got 7th. They got. I guess they were stronger than Mercedes.
Were pretty good in Austria. Not the good level of pretty like before that. Like if you exclude the Ferraris and basically Norris, who just got the upgrades, the Astons were like pretty good in Austria. Like they were better than Mercedes, maybe on par with whatever.
Well, here's my argument, right? We take the last 3 races. Alonso came 7th in Britain. Stroll crashed. In Hungary, they came 9th and 10th, quite far behind everyone else. And in Belgium, they came. Alonso came 5th. Stroll came 9th.
All right. Okay, I'm gonna give you one more example. Imagine Red Bull doesn't win the next 3 races. They come like out of the podium, both of them, and suddenly they win in the race after that with a 1-2, 40 seconds ahead of the field again. Is that not impressive?
That is impressive, yeah.
So you would give them the most impressive after 3 races of not being on the podium after dominating the entire season.
Yeah, no, I would, because like that's a turnaround, right? What's the context? Have they crashed out, or are they like 5th and 6th?
I was just
in those 3 races.
I'm thinking more of a like season context, because I don't really buy that recency bias of last 3 races. The Astons should be up there. They're P3 in the constructors.
And the McLaren should be up there. My point, but I know the McLarens aren't like top in the constructors. But like last 3 races, well, apart from Belgium, where we talked about, they were the worst, like strategically wise. They came 2nd in Hungary, and they should have been P2 and 3, but Oscar Piastri crashed his car. They were 2nd and 4th, again, should have been P2 and 3. Austria, Norris was P4. So, like, yeah, they aren't high in the constructors, but they should be getting, like, good placements.
Okay, well, if the recency bias is so big, then if Ferraris in Belgium, for example, the Ferraris in Belgium should have gotten the most impressive team, because of just being the 2nd quickest car suddenly after not being there for a couple of races ever since like Austria.
I wouldn't be too like I would probably give them the most impressive team for that race.
I don't think team that was comfortably the 2nd fastest for like, let's say, first 6 opening races up until Mercedes and Ferraris caught up. I don't know. Okay.
I'll digress.
Compromise. All right. P5 and 6. I'm gonna give you half a point, but if they finish anywhere near below P5 and 6, you're not getting a point.
I've digressed. I'm putting Alpha.
All right, Alpine.
Alpine, sorry, yeah.
Is you're saying
against
the Alpines are gonna be both in the top 8?
No, I'd say top 10.
Well, that's where you expect Alpines to be. That's another like the Alpines should be.
So okay, where you're seeing like where do you expect the McLarens to be?
On the edge of top 3.
On the edge. Why do you expect that? They've been the quickest, like for like the last 4 races. They've been the 2nd quickest.
Well, and in Austria,
I don't see your view.
In Austria, they were the 3rd quickest with Norris because Piastri didn't have the upgrades. Silverstone, they were the second fastest. In Hungary, they were like on par with Mercedes, and last weekend they were basically behind all the top teams.
But they set up their car really badly. Also, Piastri got second in his in the sprint.
Like, you don't really know how, like, if they would have gotten the setup right, you don't really know where would they be compared to the rest of the midfield. Not the midfield.
Piastri got crashed into and was second. Got crashed into. Well, he got second in the sprint race and then got crashed into. Would be my argument there.
Well, Piastri was like P5 or something like that. Like, it was like behind the Ferraris, Perez and Hamilton, so P5. Yeah.
I don't know. I just expect Norris to come second. Like, you expect Norris to come second as well. So Piastri being P4 isn't that like far out.
Well, I expect Aston to do good in this weekend. Even I put Alonso in P2. I don't think Aston's I don't think they were too far behind for P5 and 6 to be impressive. I mean, okay, if you put Alpines and they both get like P9 and 10, both get points in such a like competitive.
Yeah, they did that last time.
Top 10 we have now. If they both get points, I'm gonna give you the point there. P5 and 6 for Aston, they're just not. You know.
Fine, there you go. There's my final answer.
All right, they're doing basically the same thing as I'm doing. All right.
Are you also going to put them there?
I'm going to put Alfa Romeo's a bit of a spoiler. Yep.
Well, yeah, I could understand that reasoning. Okay. It's the same reason Bottas. Same reason I have Tsunoda and Alpha.
Yep. So AlphaTauri being the most impressive team, that's basically them being faster than the Alfa Romeo's, Williams's, and Haas's, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty understandable. I can work with that. I'm gonna put Alfa Romeo's with the same logic there. Basically, there's a different driven team there with the same logic.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right. Something we agreed on. Yeah.
Final team is gonna be the Ferraris in least impressive team.
Okay, I guess we're both getting a point here. Oh, sorry. Opposite sides.
Opposite sides.
Science is such a please impressive team, right? All right.
After coming off of Spa, like not getting into the top 5 would be very disappointing. Like Leclerc was faster than the Mercedes there.
Yeah. Or
he was comfortably kept Hamilton away from him the whole race.
Yeah. For Ferraris to be the least impressive team, I would say they need to be slowest of the top 5 teams, maybe even behind the Alpines. Maybe just.
I'd say so. So that
they would need to finish like below 8th place. Not maybe 8th place if someone ahead of them DNFs, but basically they need to be below the top 4 teams, right?
I'd say 7th and 8th would be bad.
Yeah, so because they have Stroll there as well. And Stroll is going to be...
Well, Stroll or Russell.
Stroll is going to be like struggle for points even in the second fastest car, as we saw in many races this season. All right.
I'm more hedging my bets that Russell will get a 6th.
All right. Extra bold predictions. Pretty low in time, I'd say.
Sort of made mine. With Perez not finishing.
All right. I kind of made mine as well early on when I talked about it. And I think Max will win every single thing there is to win this weekend. He will top every single practice session, every single Q1, Q2, Q3.
Okay.
He's going to lead every single lap and get the fastest lap point. Basically, that's my prediction.
I'm keeping you to this. Then. Every single one.
Right. Okay. I'm glad you allow that predictions go. Because it only happened like twice this season, I think.
Yeah. No, I think that's quite a good one. Because you're literally predicting. I know he's in the best car, but like the Friday might have rain, and he has been known not to go out in the rain, like he didn't do it in Hungary.
Yeah, exactly. So like it's a pretty bold prediction in the context of everything.
Yeah, I'd say him. You know, he's in the best car, but I don't. He's only done it like once or twice.
Yep. I'm also excited
Okay.
for Banana's predictions. 'Cause I have no idea what he's gonna put there.
Me neither. Me neither.
Yeah, he's a McLaren fan, so maybe like some Norris P2 and Piastri P3. Unless he goes bold and puts some McLaren in P1. I don't know.
We shall see.
Yep. Yeah, I don't feel good about my predictions compared to yours, like in the points sense. Because if you get another lead over me, I don't think I'm catching up. I would need an insane.
There's a lot of races left.
Like you have already like the Q1 and race 1, like the categories we have, like those points go to both of us. We also have the same Norris spec for P2 in the race and P4 in the quali. We also have the same for the Ferraris there. There's not many points I can get over you, even if I get lucky.
To be fair, I was the one that put them first, so it's not like me copying you, which would have been bad.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like I copied you for most of this, but I actually have them like I finally made my predictions before we did this. For the last 2 weekends, I did them like at pause. Like they were pretty spontaneous predictions, but this time I prepared for it. And hopefully, I'll get some points on the board as well.
Hopefully so.
I also have the record for the most points in the single race.
No, you don't.
Yeah, the 6 from the Belgian Grand Prix. My high score is 5 from the British Grand Prix, where we both got 5. Right?
I got 4 in that race.
I got 4. I was leading at the start. Yeah.
You were by a point, and it's all changed around. God, our Hungary predictions were awful.
0 points now. Oh my god. Is it the Max? From the Hungary, I think I put Max in pole position and not winning the race, but instead he didn't good pole position and won the race. That's just, I put the Max in the wrong spot there. Your only point from Hungary was Max winning the race. I think we can wrap it up. I think it's
okay
to say. We're obviously gonna react to Banana's predictions after the Grand Prix. I assume he's not gonna be able to join us in the stream, unfortunately.
We'll
but yep. Maybe we do another stream with Banana. Who knows? Until that point, thanks everyone for watching. And sorry for it being like delayed, but yesterday I had some unfortunate circumstances and we had to record it a day later. That means my stat summary is gonna upload tomorrow instead of today, so I have like consecutive uploads and not 2 in one day. I don't think they would really the algorithm will really like that much. So yeah, thanks everyone for watching again, and see you soon. Bye.
Bye.